Hi, I'm Whitman, and I'm here today to talk about using positive reinforcement in your workplace. We're going to talk about the way that you can affect others' behavior, which is what you're doing when you're leading your teams. Talk a little bit about the science behind teaching and training. And then what is positive reinforcement? Why should you even listen today? Why do you need to know what positive reinforcement is? We're going to talk a little bit today about how to actually use it to get the behavior you want and to get rid of the behavior you don't want. So we're always training. You might think, you know, I only have 2 employees on my team right now that are new and they're in our training program, so why do I need to know about this? But all of your employees are always learning. We want them to be learning. We want them to be doing things better, faster, or differently, and that's training. We can use these same skills, and so that's actually the majority of your workforce that this applies to. World-class teams use science-based approaches in their training. I'd say if you could get an orca whale to jump through a hoop using these skills, then probably you can get your material handlers to fill out their pre-trip inspection form on their forklift. It's that effective. Why should I use it? Why should you add that to your toolbox? Well, it's been proven to work. It's easy to use. We'll show you how to do that today. Anyone can use it, and it works on everyone. It doesn't matter what your leadership style is, you can use this to your benefit. And as a bonus, it generates a positive attitude. So you're helping your team members to be better, and they're enjoying it. So here's the definition of a reinforcer. It happens in conjunction with a behavior and increases the likelihood that behavior will be repeated. And it's much simpler than that. You just observe your employee, they do something that you want, you reinforce it by doing something that they find rewarding. Over time, they're going to repeat those things because they found them to be rewarding. And then you continue to do this, and there really becomes less time for them to do the behaviors you don't want. That's it. You just catch them doing it right, you know how to reinforce it. That's your job as the leader using positive reinforcement. You want to know the behaviors you're looking for, so you might be looking for employees to wear their seatbelts while they're driving their forklifts, and use a reinforcer that works for them. I'll bet a lot of your employees, it would be reinforcing just to get a simple thank you from their boss. Shaping is the next technique we're going to talk about, and that's where you reinforce a person's best efforts at the behavior you're looking for. So you're using reinforcement, and you're using it with folks that are already doing a behavior, but you want it to be a little bit different. So human behavior is variable by nature. Some of it's going to be closer to what you want than others. Your employees are going to have different days and different ways they do things. It's also going to aid in your communication using this technique. You're not just explaining what you want, you're actually picking out a time and saying, that what you just did, that's what I want you to do more of. So when can you use shaping? When the employee's already doing the behavior, but you want it to be a little bit different. You can also use it when you have a long way to go. So if you have a really poor performer in some area, this method will help to recognize the small steps that they take toward the goal behavior that you want them to be at. So instead of getting frustrated because they just will never be able to do it how you want at that level, they get constant positive feedback and encouragement. You can break that down to steps beforehand, or you could just be a good observer to set those milestones. But we all do better when we have a small and achievable goal. Technique of shaping behavior, you can shape things that seem really hard to train. You might think that these things either an employee has or they don't. Teamwork, volunteerism, positive attitude. But I'm sure you've worked on teams where these things grew over time in either one employee or in the entire team. And occasionally, even your most negative employee will turn around with this method. In some ways, you might catch more flies with honey than you do with vinegar. We need to have disciplinary systems in our workforce, but we don't often use reinforcement to our advantage.